recording. We are recording. Hopefully that goes to videos. Cracking. Lovely. So, we'll just quickly go over what we did yesterday or on Tuesday. So, we went to our character, we had the trigger, and boom, there we go. This is working. Smiley face on my little icon as well. And it should fade after 10 seconds. As we create that animation, it will only plays it once. There we go, lovely. And then, as we scripted it before, you can go and edit that script if you want it to appear again. Essentially, we would have to just get rid of play. We go into our script very quickly. And our UR event trigger.
I think you can actually do it in the inspector.
Oh, is it public?
Yeah, it's just a like remove after exit thing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So you can, we've already checked it as a variable, haven't we? Sorry, default. So yeah, you can remove after exit true or false. So you can just put that to true, or if you want to hard code it, you can just change that to true. So entirely up to you. Lovely. Right. Okay. So what we're now going to do is we are going to create a new script. So I'm going to right click and go create C# script, and we're going to call this our info scriptable. This will be our scriptable object. We can open that script once you've got that there. Cool. So we are going to learn a little bit more about scripting structures today. And again, it's something that we need to know, within industry. So once we create a C# script, this is our default. We get our update, we get our start, and we get this public class. So this public class means it can be seen within Unity, so it's public. This is the name of the script. And then we have something called mono behavior. Okay, mono behavior is essentially looking at a one-way system. Okay, a mono behavior script is something that will work in game and is looking for essentially a reaction, an if trigger, something happening every second, something happening at the start of our game. It's looking for a reaction constantly. Okay, from our game, and essentially that's what mono behavior means. With this script, we want this to control other scripts. So we don't want mono behavior because it's not going to work within our game. We're not going to actually put this script anywhere within our game. It's just going to live within the project, living within all the files, and it's going to be behind everything within our game. So we're going to remove mono behavior, and we are going to call this our scriptable, and it should pop up. Object. I'm fearing that it's not going to like it because I'm going to quickly save this. I've got that classic issue of Unity forgetting on Visual Studio. Let's quickly go to Edit, Preferences. Yep, there we go. Cool. It might do that with you as well. I'm not sure if it reacts to everyone's like that, but I'm just going to change that. And then I'll close Visual Studio. Very annoying, sorry. I always forget about that. And then open this again. And it should turn like a bluey colour now, actually. Or not. Oh yeah, there you go. Cool, lovely. So it should pop up automatically. So if I start to put mono behavior, that will enter that there. And I can quickly just delete that and start to type scriptable objects, and there it goes. It pops up there, scriptable object. Fantastic. Cool. So this scriptable object doesn't need start or update because start and update are something that is mono-behavior. Okay, it's looking for a reaction. This is going to control components. So we're going to delete those. And we can add some objects that it can control. And we're going to take those from our UI event, trigger event. Cool, lovely. So what we're going to want to take from this script is our sprite, our text area, and our two, and our floats. So we're going to want to take that. I'll keep that highlighted so you can see it clearly. And you can screenshot that as well. So what it's going to take is the sprite, the text area, or if we talk about the variables, it's going to take a sprite, a string, the two balls, and a float. So this is one thing that you can learn about scriptable objects. They can control variables outside of the game. Okay? So what I'm going to do is go Control C, go into our scriptable object and Control V. As you can see, there's no problem with it. They can live in there. If you are taking notes, I'll give you time to take notes. Okay, so what we've done, we've gone to our UI trigger event, and what we're copying over is the sprite, so the public sprite variable, the public string variable, which is our text area, info message, the two public balls of disable time after, or disable timer after, and remove after exit, and the public float of the disable timer itself. That's what we're going to copy over. And I have highlighted that on the screen. And they should be all kind of joined up together. Don't worry, Ryan, I am recording this, mate. So we've taken our information over into our scriptable object here. Lovely jubbly. So we're going to do one more thing before we leave this script. Before we, outside of the public class, we're going to create a new menu for it. And this is quite cool. And you can do this with pretty much all your scripts. We are going to create a new menu asset. So what we're going to do, we're going to get a block. We're going to get block brackets like this. And it should pop up as we type it. Create menu asset, menu name. Oh, I love this because it just knows what you want to do straight away. So we're going to go tab, yep, we want that. And then our menu name, I think, I don't know, it can just be file name for it. Oh, actually, no, we are going to change it. We're going to say file name. Is equal to, and then we can call this objective script because this is what we've mainly been using them for. Yeah, there's it. I'll show you what that does in a second. Cool, so make sure you have a good look at that. Very quickly, I'll give you some time to write it up as well. So I'm just about to show you what this part does. Okay, why have we written this up here? Okay, so if we go Control S and save that very, very quickly, it's gone green, lovely. Let's go back into Unity and see if you have any problems. Lovely. Cool. So what we've done here, if we read it, create asset menu and file name. Okay. Let's have a look at this. So we've created something from our scriptable objects. So what can scriptable objects do? Well, what we can do is we go to Unity. If we go, right, I want to create my objective system, I want to put some more objectives on it, create objectives for, let's say, a knight, and then a female knight, and then like a orc, or something like that. Again, just using Gabs as an example. So I'm like, right, I'm going to do a load of scripts for my objectives for my knight first. What I do is right click, and what we can do now is if we go to create, we'll see info scriptable up there, and we'll have our scriptable object. And we can call this, I'm just going to call this objective 1, or call it objective, actually, because then we can just duplicate them. So this is our scriptable object. And look what's in there, in the inspector. Everything that we copied over. Okay, so we can start to we can start to edit this within game when it's playing. We can say knight objective, we can duplicate this with Control and D, we can create loads of different objectives now. Objective 1, objective 2, objective 3. You can keep going and change it and edit it. Okay, we're not quite there yet, but I'm just showing you that, well, this is the kind of things that we can start to do, and this will create a more, and then this is all now being controlled by one script, which is here.
So you would just attach that scriptable object to what you want it to work.
So we are going to create another script, a control script, where you can still edit certain bits because we can't. There's certain things we haven't copied over. Okay. So we're going to finish off those bits, and then you'll be able to be like, oh, okay, then you'll see why the objective system works for certain characters, as an example. Okay, lovely. So we've right-clicked and now we can create these mini scriptable objects where we can customize each of these. Absolutely fine. And they're way lower optimization and they're less on the game because they're not going to live, or they are going to go into your game component, but they're only going to have data compared to a whole script, which is constantly. So if we have put about 50 of these within our game is going to start to lag because essentially this script is running at 60 frames per second. Each script you put in there. These little bad boys are not. They're just giving you the information. Okay, so they're a lot less heavier on your game's optimization than these scripts. Okay. And it's all going to be a bit at the moment, but hopefully it should come a bit clearer. And we will do a bit more research on it, and we will develop. I would like to develop a game using entirely scriptable objects from scratch. Cool, lovely. Right, so we don't have everything in here, do we? There's still some components from our UI trigger that are missing. Okay, so we need to create a new script to control our scriptable objects. And this is going to be a standard C#. So right click, create C#. And then I'm going to call this our info trigger scriptable. So this is something that will actually go on our game, but it will be very light. Just making sure my eyes are terrible. just thinking out. I can do an example later. Ah, okay, cool. That's a good idea. Look, you can see that if I don't delete it, look, it sees it as a dot asset. It doesn't even see it as a big script. So again, running less time. I'm just trying to think of a better way of trying to explain it. It's just not as heavy. I can't think of a technical term for it, but it'll make the game run smoother. Cool, lovely. So we've just created our info trigger scriptable. Lovely, lovely. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to go over to our UI event. Actually, we're going to get rid of all this first. So it's just that. And we are going to go over to our UI event script. This is our script that we created initially. So we are in our previous workshop. Okay. And what we're going to do, we're going to take all of this bad boy. Okay. We're going to go to copy. We're going to go to our info trigger scriptable. And we're going to paste it in. We will get red lines. We may get some issues. And we're going to fix those. Do not worry. The whole thing. No, delete the void start and the update. So it's just an empty public class, and copy and paste everything in from the UI trigger event. Cool. So first things first, let's look at the two errors that we have. Once we've copied and pasted this in, there's not many errors I thought that we have. That's cool. We'll get more. First thing we need to do is our info scriptable up the top here, our scriptable tag isn't controlling our text or character icon. Okay, so we still need using Unity engine .ui for this. We still need this. But what we don't need is that we don't need our custom icon because that's being controlled by our scriptable object. We don't need our text area. We don't need those two balls or those floats. They can go away. So once we've highlighted those, we can just delete those, and then we will get some errors probably from that, but we can fix that. Cool, wicked. So we do have some errors here, okay? But it's a good thing, okay? So this is, these are all, if we look at the disabled timer after, disabled timer, custom icon, everything we've just deleted is now asking for. So we need to write a reference to our scriptable object, okay? So we can call this private. If I'm wrong, we can change it to public later. And we're going to call it info scriptable because that's where they're living. And again, I'm just going to call this info scriptable as its name, as its variable name as well. Cool, lovely. So once we've got that, we still have these errors because all we need to do now is we need to reference where this has come from. So where does this live now? Well, it lives in InfoScriptable. So if we go over to our scripts, if we, let's be really cheeky, shall we? Let's just highlight our variable name, copy, wherever we have a red squiggly line in our scripts now, if we just paste that with Control V and then put a dot, so we have InfoScript dot remove after exit. There we go. That will fix the issue. We can do that for every squiggly line that we have. So info message again, Control V dot. So InfoScriptable info message. Dot. Control V dot. Control V dot. Lovely. Okay, lovely jubbly. So what we're going to do is control and save that. What I'm going to do now is to make sure this works, I'm going to grab another cube and create another trigger. Cube. Oops. Yeah. Just going to stretch this out again. Cool. I'm going to put is trigger. Can I fiddle with the color a little bit more? Materials folder in here. Go materials. Let's create another material. Clearly have not had my copy this morning. Cool, lovely. Make it transparent, and then we can put down the alpha a little bit so it's a little bit see-through. Lovely. Blending mode. Actually, the alpha can go to. I'll put that later. And I can drag that onto our cube. So I've got like a see-through kind of greeny trigger that I can walk into. I'm just going to keep this name as cube for now. Is trigger. So now I've got a brand new trigger. Let's see if our scriptable object works. Okay. So first things first, I'm going to go to my scripts and we're going to add the info trigger scriptable. Lovely. Wicked. Cool. We do need to make one thing. So if we see here, we do need to, in fact, make this public. Sorry. So on the scriptable, I thought it would need to be public. So this line here needs to be public. Sorry. Apologies, I knew it. Question yourself. Cool. Once that's public, we can save our script again. And there we go. So what we can do here now is, so it still needs the UI text. So I can drag in, I can drag in my UI text. It still needs my character icon. I can drag that in. It then needs my info scriptable object. Well, this is the thing. Here's where we can be really creative, where we can have this, put our text info in there, put that sprite, and then we can call that night objective 1. And then we can create a number of night objectives, a number of female night objectives, a number of objectives for a dragon or an orc or something like that. And it all derives from these different objectives that we just then simply drag into here. And that information is already ready and available for us, instead of having these big heavy scripts on each one. Okay, so then, so what I'm going to say for my objective is I'm going to choose a random sprite to choose that man jumping in, or choose the eye. Choose something like my god, and then I'm going to choose that. And then I can then choose a different time as well. And then in my objective, I can click and drag that in there, and that will pass through all that information. Then the animator is obviously coming from our panel. Oh, actually, no, it's coming from the canvas. Sorry, apologies. Coming from the canvas, not obviously, clearly. There we go. So once we've got all that data, we can press play. And we have a scriptable object. I don't expect you guys to get your head around it straight away. It's a learning process. But what you definitely need to know is that now, instead of having all these triggers, we have these light scriptable objects that are not going to be as heavy on your game. Okay? And these are going to hold the power now. Okay? And your game will as you put more things into it, more text and stuff like that. These little objective systems will really, really help you out. Okay? So that's it. That's your light introduction to scriptable objects. We will get into more detail with them. What's that coming from? Oh, okay, that's a plain input. Don't worry about that. Cool, lovely. And that's the end of that mini little tutorial into scriptable objects. And hopefully we have a slightly better understanding of what scriptable objects do. Everybody kinda, can we see where we utilize it at least? And honestly, if we kept using this trigger event every single time, it would get heavy on our game. Okay? And especially even if you don't want to do programming within the industry, but you're working with a games company, and they say, "Oh, we've got some scriptable objects or something," you're just knowing what that does, just from this session, will get you a long way. Trust me. Okay, so it's instead of the game overworking, it's the back end of the game that's now working, doing the job. That's what we're thinking about. That's why, and also, welcome to intermediate scripting. So, so yeah, we've taken that jump and that leap now to intermediate systems, and everything that you will see that's a dialogue system or an objective system or anything that controls sort of that kind of language will have a scriptable object. If they're working on a bigger games. Okay. Cool. As I said, this is recorded, so for people like Ryan who came in late, you can watch the whole thing, and it's me banging on all the way through it, obviously. And I'm still banging on, still recording. And hopefully it'll help you out. I'll get that on the Discord straight away. Again, try and help with your write-ups. Try and help with your write-ups. I have got a big task for you, which I will do once I've just ended this recording.